We're going to welcome phone calls for both our guests. Primaries tomorrow in Oregon and also in Kentucky. And our guests are from those states. Professor Joseph Lowndes, assistant professor in the Department of Political Science at the University of Oregon and author of From the New Deal to the New Right, Race and the Southern Origins of Modern Conservatism. Professor Stephen Voss is associate professor, director of undergraduate studies at the University of Kentucky. We welcome your phone calls if you'd like to look at these primaries, if you want to talk about appeasement, if you want to talk about the special elections, how the campaigns are being run in Oregon and in Kentucky, whether or not Senator Obama can clinch the deal tomorrow night, and whatever else you'd like to bring up. Here's our number, 800-486-8655. 800-486-8655. In Milwaukee, it's 414-227-2050. And if you'd like to send an email, that address is talk@wpr.org. Talk@wpr.org. I'm Kathleen Dunn. This is the Ideas Network of Wisconsin Public Radio. We go to your phone calls now for our guests, Professor Stephen Voss, Associate Professor, Director of Undergraduate Studies at the University of Kentucky, Professor Joseph Lowndes, who is Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science at the University of Oregon. And we start with Charles from La Crosse. Hi, Charles.
Good morning. Yes. A week ago, last Sunday, there was a talking head program where someone suggested that Colin Powell be a VP for McCain. And I thought, that's maybe, a casual calculation. Then this last Sunday on Tim Russert's program for the defeated senatorial candidate from Tennessee, I believe, suggested that Powell may be a vice presidential candidate for Obama. So I thought maybe your author on the race could address that, since this seems to be getting some inertia. I'll take my answer off the radio.
Okay, thanks. Professor Lowndes?
Yeah, that's interesting. I had not heard that. I think it would surprise me if Obama were to choose Colin Powell for a couple of reasons. One, I think he really needs to run, or I think consciously wants to run against the Bush administration and Bush foreign policy. And while Powell finally seems to have distanced himself from that, he is linked to getting the U.S. into Iraq on the front end. And I think it would be tough for Obama to be able to clearly and forcefully reject Bush policies for the last 8 years and have Powell on the ticket. In terms of the race question, I think, as we see in Kentucky and many places, race will play a role in this election. And I'm not sure Obama would want to. I mean, he and Colin Powell are both don't have Black American parents. Don't come from a history of American slavery. Powell's parents were Jamaican, and Obama's obviously his dad was Kenyan. But I think in either of the cases, these are both beloved men in American politics. Powell even more in some ways. But I think having two black men on the ticket as president and vice president might be. I would imagine the Obama camp would calculate that might be a little bit much for many American voters.
Too much change, huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Professor Voss?
Yeah. I'd bet real money that there's going to be a white guy, or if not, at least a white woman added to Obama's ticket.
Mm-hmm.
To have two people who are perceived as black would destroy the campaign.
And what about the role of race in Kentucky? What role will it play tomorrow?
With all respect to Professor Lowndes, I don't think race is going to matter very much, and the reason, not in the sense that it's not important, but in the sense that Obama's race won't matter much. And the reason is that most of the folks in Kentucky and in the southern states who are going to be bothered by a black candidate already have an image of the Democratic Party as the minority party, and they were extremely unlikely to vote for the Democrats anyway. So while I think race is critically important in these societies and they shape a lot of the political behavior, I don't think it's really going to change the voting that this candidate happens to have darker skin.